YAHU'AH, allow Yahuwah, all barakah and esteem to our mighty anointed one. I ask in Yahushua's name that as we gather for a message of importance, that we all who have ears to hear and eyes to see understand. This is the Yom day Yahuwah has made. Let us rejoice and be glad within it. And we will rejoice and be glad. That is Psalms 118:24. All esteem to our Aby'yah-Samu for us even being here. So here I am again with the same blueprint of people going crazy, and I'm speaking of people in the way going crazy due to the state of this earth, the state of this USKKKA, and the people that are so-called running these things. So let's just take it from the top. First of all, the Most High, Yahuwah, is in charge of everything. Whatever's going on down here, He is the puppet master. We are all just pieces on the board, and He moves those pieces, and His works are being done. So there's no need to panic, which what brings me here. Because I see, once again, you're on Facebook, you're in Messenger, and you have the opportunity to see what people's mindsets are concerning these times. It's just like you read something, extra read all about it, and you want to fly off and give all the news without really knowing what the news is. The news for us is the Besorah. The news for us is the word of the Most High, given by Yahushua and all his witnesses throughout the book. And with that being said, these panicky videos, and that's going to be the subject of this live, this message. Too many people are panicking over what's going on now, and we really need to stop that, because from what I'm seeing, for ones who come to me, there's a lot of confusion going on. And in this time, when we are going through these times, which is prophesied for us to know and to at least recognize them, and when you recognize what these prophecies are manifesting into in these times, you should be able to manifest yourself within yourself to know what to do with them. And one of them that we're not supposed to do is panic. So we're going to go over a couple of scriptures here. I'm not going to be here all day holding people down, but if you have ears and want to hear it, I'm here. All right. First of all, this is for us to know that we are protected by the Most High. Now that protection comes with obedience to Him and the following of Yahushua. You cannot be of your own mind to consider yourself to be protected by the power of the Most High in these times. So let's start with the scripture located in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1, verse 42, and it's going to have some corresponding readings with it. But I'm picked this scripture to start this off so we can get our mindsets right on far as going forward on your own, going out on your own, doing things of your own mind, not following the Most High's will, not following His words, not following His commands, because it's the own-minded ones who are going to wind up in trouble, thinking that they're doing something and they're not really doing anything. So we are supposed to be still. Let's start with that. We're supposed to be still here and let the Most High do His works. And this battle in this earth, in this country, it's the Most High's battle. Our battle is spiritual. We're supposed to be purging ourselves, which here we're coming up on a feast day for that, unleavened bread, which has nothing to do with food and all that stuff. It has to do with your own self. You're supposed to get all that leaven out of you, and that is considered sin, transgressions, and we're supposed to work on that. And these feast days are remembrances, reminders, the knowledge to know that the Most High has days separate from these times. And then we have the own-minded ones still going out as we speak, doing them. So let's start with the ones who figure we're supposed to be out here battling these people that's coming up against us, or battling anything here. outside of ourselves in our spiritual realm where we have to fix ourselves. So we're going to start with the book of Deuteronomy chapter 1 verse 41. I'm going to start there. I'm going to start at verse 42. And Yahuwah said to me, say to them, you know what, to make this make more sense, let's do 41. Then you said to me, we have sinned against Yahuwah. We will indeed go up and fight, just as Yahuwah our YAHU'AH commanded us. And every man of you girded on his weapons of war, and regarded it as easy to go up into the hill country. And Yahuwah said to me, say to them, do not go up north to fight, for I am not among you. Otherwise you will be defeated before your enemies. See, this is the kind of thing that I keep trying to reiterate to people. You know, it's not about what you want to do, what your mindset is, and what you think is right. The Most High has things written for us to do here, and we are supposed to do them here, as He says it. Like I mentioned to somebody recently, if your knowledge is lacking enough to know that some things in the scriptures are literal and some things are figurative, then you have more studying to do and should be praying for discernment. Because there's nothing in this book that says we're supposed to be battling in this place at all. No matter what the battle is. The physical battle is not ours. Let me keep reading. Verse 43. So I spoke to you, but you would not listen. Instead, you rebelled against the command of Yahuwah and acted presumptuously and went up onto the hill country. The Amorites who lived in that hill country came out against you and chased you as bees do, and crushed you from Seir to Hormah. Then you returned and wept before Yahuwah, but Yahuwah did not listen to your voice, nor give ear to you. As you remained in Kadesh many days, the days that you spent there. The key to this whole verse is the Most High gives us commands. When we read that the Most High said to me, which He's talking to a witness, okay, one of His prophets, whatever that prophet said that the Most High said, He said to him, is a command. All right, we are not to go out and battle on our own. If we go out on our own, you're taking the chance that the Most High won't be with you with whatever you're trying to do. And in battle, we're not just talking about like a physical fight or following people. We're talking about taking it upon yourself to do your own way as far as going forward. So let's take this moving, for instance. I keep getting that one, to move to another country, to move to another hemisphere. Look, Babylon is Babylon. Babylon is this earth. Babylon is not just USKKKA. Babylon encompasses this, is a system. Let's put that little note in there. Babylon is a system. It is not a country per se. All these countries are encompassed in this Babylonian system. So with that being said, where are you going to go? Where are you going to hide? Where is your refuge in this place? We read about the bunkers. We read about the so-called lands that are okay. There is no land okay for us here. Let's say that again. There is no land here for us here. There is nowhere for us to go, to hide, to escape. If you really truly have faith in Yahuwah, you will put your refuge in Him and Him alone. Numbers. The book of Numbers, chapter 14, verse 41 through 45. These are some scriptures that were put together to, once again, lead a path to righteous decisions, righteous works, righteous actions, righteous thoughts, not doing things of our own mind. That's how we got in trouble in the first place, doing things our own way. Our ancestors did enough of that to last for generations, including us here. So we're going to go into Numbers chapter 14, verse 41. And verse 41, and carried on, reads as follows. But Moshe said, why then are you transgressing the commandment of Yahuwah? Actually, the commands. That commandment is a funny word. When it will not succeed. Let's read that again. Why then are you transgressing the commandment of Yahuwah when it will not succeed? Do not go up, or you will be struck down before your enemies, for Yahuwah is not among you. This stuff is pretty clear and simple, and we're in Numbers. So this is the Torah. So this is a command. Once again, you just can't read past things and think it's just another sentence. This is actually words out of the Most High's mouth, and if it's transferred from him to Moshe or Isaiah or Jeremiah or whoever it is, it's a command still at play, and we are to do that command as it's stated. Now, this is a do. Like I said, some things are literal, some things are figurative. This is literal. Do not go up, or you will be struck down before your enemies, for Yahuwah is not among you. That's a period after that. And I keep hearing people say, well, let's go here and we got to do this, and trying to convince people to. I just saw a video earlier today where a so-called Yashraelite, I'll use that word, were telling people that and this goes to show your people's mindset. He's saying he's reading from the Bible of what the Most High said. But he's coming out with the Lord told him this, the Lord told him that. Excuse my Exodus 23:13 violation. Now, if he's telling you that the Lord said we should all be gathering things, moving things, getting ready to leave or getting ready to move to escape the wrath from here, that is totally incorrect. He was saying purchasing things like gas masks, MRE meals, generators, solar batteries. If you take a quick look at what that statement means, it means disobedience. Because if you think common sense wise, we have people, Yeshurun, that are on Facebook. I always use Facebook as a reference because we all meet there. And if we all added up our friends list together, we would have thousands and thousands of people. But among those same people that we see every day, do you know there's people struggling just to make it from one day to the next? Do you know we have homeless people on our page? Do you know we have hungry people on our page? Do you know we have people that are all alone on our page and have nothing but themselves? And there's a chasm of difference between them and the people that surround them. So how can these same people who have really nothing be able to get all these things that you're saying we're supposed to go get, when in reality we're supposed to wait on the Most High and let him move us and let him instruct us what to get? We'll let him instruct us where to go, because you can best believe it's going to be a voice that we all hear. Like I've mentioned many times, it's going to be like the same voice you heard just to hear him to get into the truth. You were in the world one way doing one thing, and the next thing you know, you're in the way doing the way of Yahuwah, following Yahusha. That voice. So it's that same voice, since the Most High don't change, and he's the same all the time, we're going to hear for all those who are supposed to hear when it's time for us to move and where we're supposed to go and what we're supposed to do. The items and things that I see people mentioning to other folks are beyond comprehension. These are own-minded thoughts and have nothing to do with the word of Yahuwah. If you read 2 Chronicles, chapter 15, verses 1 through 7, well, let's go read it. Let's go see what 2 Chronicles, chapter 15, verse 1 through 7. Now this is the Most High is with you when you are with him. Let's try that out. Now the Spirit of Yahuwah came upon Azariah, the son of Oded, and he went out to meet Asa and said to him, listen to me, Asa, and all Yehudah, and all Benjamin. Yahuwah is with you when you are with him. And if you seek him, he will let you find him. But if you forsake him, he will forsake you. For many days Yahshua was without a true Eluah, God to some of y'all, and without a teaching priest. And without law, we still don't have any teaching priest here. Nobody here is a Levitical priest that are qualified to do any blessings, barakah, teachings of any kind. But in their distress, they turned to Yahuwah. They see that telling you right there. They didn't have anybody as a leader to tell them what to do. But in their distress, they knew to turn to our Abba Yahuwah in heavens, who is our mighty protector, who is our shield, who is our rock. If you read 2 Samuel chapter 22, I want to say verse 3, it tells you he's our rock. He's our refuge. He's our buckler. And if we take refuge in him, we will be protected by him. But in their distress, they turned toward Yahuwah, Aluah of Yasharal, and they sought him, and he let them find him. Let's repeat that one. They sought him, and he let them find him. This is 2 Chronicles chapter 15. We're a little bit out of Torah here, but these are really connected scriptures, like precept style, because when I read one, I would get led to the other. And when I read the other, I would get led to another. So I just copied them down in order as they say. The battle is the Most High. Stay still and watch him. Don't join in. That's what 2 Chronicles 20. That's also, in 2 Chronicles 20. And it's also in Exodus 14, verse 14. To be silent and keep still. You know, some of the juicy ones are going to come up in a minute here. I'm trying to keep it in order so I don't get out of whack with myself. The bottom line is we're supposed to be obedient to the Most High. If you are obedient to the Most High, you shouldn't have anything to worry about. If you are doing the desire of the Most High, you shouldn't have anything to worry or concern yourself about when it concerns this place. And if you are following Yahushua in his way and staying in his light and doing your best to stay on the straight and narrow, that hard-pressed way, that in Matthew we were told that the straight and narrow path that we must walk is going to be a hard-pressed walk. It's the difficult way to walk, so to speak, compared to the broad way where you can just do whatever the heck you want to do and keep on doing it. But you're going to pay for that in the end. You also get rewarded in the end for staying on the straight and narrow. And the key with that is, like Matthew 24:13 states, he who endures to the end shall be saved. Endurance has a lot of things under it. It's overcoming a lot of things here. That's what enduring means, to get through, to overcome, to gain strength, to move forward, and get stronger as you go. So that's what we're supposed to be doing. Nobody said nothing about joining the army, getting everybody together and buying weapons, spending all your worldly, selling all your stuff, getting money and moving somewhere. So how do you feel in your heart? You move somewhere and you come up with the same troubles. That's because the Most High isn't with you. You should feel him every day. And you should be obedient and trusting and have faith in him every day, all day, no matter what the matter is here. These are not my words. These are words of the Most High. All right. I'm going to take a little time to do some Apocrypha reading. See, everybody can, I always say everybody, most people read the 66 books only and have no idea what's in that Apocrypha, either because they don't have it or they don't understand it. So, I learned that in the Apocrypha, you can find scriptures in there that directly correlate to the ones in the 66 books, and it's like they go together. And I'm going to read a few of those. But first, I like to read the scriptures that bring us to the protection part. We have all these threats of this wars going on, and we know what Matthew says. We're going to hear about the rumors of wars, nation against nation, country against country, brother against brother. The love of many is going to go frigid. Cold is an understatement. This place is frigid, but we're supposed to maintain ourselves. So we know that in the first bondage era, back in Mizraim, Egypt, the Most High finally heard the cries of his people, and he brought them out of there via the leadership of Moshe, via the power of Most High given to Moshe and Aaron to bring these people out. Now, before they were brought out, Egypt, Mizraim itself, went through a lot of plagues, a lot of destruction. The Most High's people were still in that region. The Most High's people still lived there, but they weren't touched. Not one plague come upon any of the Most High's obedient ones who stayed inside and hid, like Isaiah 26:20 tells us to do. Go inside your closet, shut the door, and stay inside till the Most High is done with his works, let his wrath pass. Paraphrase that a little bit, but that's what it means. Stay inside. Who were the people that were protected by the Most High? His children, during plagues. So let's start with where they were. Many of you should be familiar with Goshen, the city of Goshen, or Goshen. I mention that city because, in particular, there were many scriptures pertaining to that area, that city where the Most High's people resided, that was simultaneously being, at the same time, simultaneously, Egypt was being beat down. So let's just go to one. Let's start in Exodus chapter 8. Exodus chapter 8, verse 22 and 23. I always say this verse, but I say I'll start at 21. For if you do not let my people go, behold, I will send swarms of insects on you and on your servants and on your people and into your houses, and the houses of the Egyptians will be full of swarms of insects, and also the ground on which they dwell. But on that day I will set apart the land of Goshen. Right out the rip, the Most High himself is telling us that he will protect you among his wrath towards this place. The Most High never changed. What is what is. There's nothing new under the sun. Every last one of those are scriptures. So you're talking about ancient times being brought to present time. What makes you think if the Most High does not change, he will not protect you during the wrath of this place? You will not be able to escape the wrath of this place. What makes you think you wouldn't be able to if he's saying take refuge in him? But on that day I will set apart the land of Goshen where my people are living, so that no swarms of insects will be there. So he plaguing Egypt, and at the same time there's not a single insect in Goshen where his people are. And trust me, if you know any ancient map, you will see that the city of Goshen is in close proximity to Egypt where these destruction was taking place. So that's why I try to bring this stuff up to like today. You got to make your mindset believe that you are in Goshen now. Like Psalms 91 says, all the arrows shall fall around you and they will not even harm you. That's directly directed to this right here. Because if I go over here and pull up this other page, all these precept to each other, including the Isaiah 26:20 verse and the Psalms 91 verse. So you have to be fully entrusted in the Most High. You can't do it part-time when something's going wrong for you. All of a sudden now you want to, you want to take refuge in the Most High because you feel like he's going to help you out now. No, it's a 24-hour, 7-day action to have trust, faith, and refuge in the Most High YAHU'AH. If you're not fooling anybody but yourself if you're not doing so, because he knows our minds. He knows our hearts. He goes by our inward parts. I've said it many, many times, hundreds of times. The Most High don't give a doggone what you look like. Our Abba Yahuwah is a worker, and he works in his time. That's another thing. Patience. People are so impatient. You have a lot of nerve to be impatient when the Most High is being patient with you. And it clearly states the Most High will protect you if you are obedient to him. And see, now we're back in Exodus, so we're in the Torah again. So these are still commands being spoken. Alrighty, back to where I was. But on that day I will set apart the land of Goshen where my people are living, so that no swarms of insects will be there, in order that you may know that I, Yahuwah, am in the midst of the land. So let's say this land now is in the midst of your mind. That's where you have to put your refuge in. Your mind and heart should be in the refuge of the Most High. It should be in the Most High, put in trust and faith in him. You should be encouraged even more with the more stuff you see going on around us that's so-called destructive, and everybody's jumping around doing cartwheels about the prophecies, but you're not doing your action to coincide with the prophecies, right? Because how can you see the prophecies coming to life, so to speak, and then want to jet off to so-called Africa or wherever the heck you want to go, the islands, the blah, blah, wherever you want to go? It ain't good enough. Stay behind where you're at and pick up your Bible and read that and pray at the same time. These are the things we should be doing in the modern times of Goshen. Remember, everything has changed. The brothers, the 12 tribes, are now a people. Babylon, one city, is now a system across this whole earth. So Goshen is really within yourself. If you really feel in your heart and mind that you can sit back and just take your refuge in the Most High and let him go up before you, you are in the modern time city of Goshen. Because there is no other refuge here. We have to be within ourselves on the inside to be with Yahuwah on the outside. And that outside is the physical protection we can get from this place. You're not supposed to go around fearing of here. Our fear is supposed to lie in him and him alone. All right, let's try another one. Remember, these are scriptures to prove protection from the Most High during the times of the troubles that are here. If you are obedient to him. If you trust in him. Let's go to Exodus chapter 9, verse 3. Second stop on the protection line. This chapter is actually titled Egyptian Cattle Die. So let's start at verse 1, chapter 9. And we're going to read all the way down. Then Yahuwah said to Moshe, go to Pharaoh and speak to him. Thus says Yahuwah, the Elohim of the Hebrews. This is word for word in my book. Let my people go, that they may serve me. For if you refuse to let them go and continue to hold them, behold, the hand of Yahuwah will come with a very severe pestilence on your livestock, which are in the field, on the horses, on the donkeys, on the camels, on the herds, and on the flocks. So he's talking about everything they got. But Yahuwah will make a distinction between the livestock of Yasharal. See, we ain't even talking about people right now. We're talking about property, goods, belongings, not people here. But Yahuwah will make a distinction between the livestock of Yasharal and the livestock of Mizraim, Egypt, so that nothing will die of all that belongs to the sons of Yasharal. He's protecting the people and their goods. He's destroying the Egyptians and their goods and their families and their properties, all simultaneously. You don't think he's going to do that today? I mean, if the bombs start coming his way, what you going to do? Conform to this place and give in? Go run and try to hide? Go shoot up everybody you see that you think is against you or coming after you? Or are you going to stay inside your doors with the doors shut and spiritually have your blood over your doorposts? Like the Most High instructed those Yasharim back in Mizraim, when they had to put the blood over their doorposts so the so-called angel of death, messenger of death would pass them. See, that's one thing you can't take for granted and think that it's just a myth. You can get taken out at any time. You can just drop dead. You can just have stuff snatched up from under you and you don't know what the heck, why, the reason, or whatever. If you don't have the favor of the Most High, what do you have? If you don't have the healing hand and power of Yahushua upon you, what do you really have? Because obedience is nothing more than that. Obedience to the Most High himself. We're not supposed to turn back to this place. We're not supposed to go to the left or the right. You dang sure better not go back into this place just to find your so-called refuge because you don't think the Most High is working fast enough for you. So if he's already saying in one verse, he said he's going to set apart the people of Yasharal. And in the next one, he says, I'm going to set apart and protect the goods of the people of Yasharal. Two different things. He made a clear distinction of that. So what makes anyone think, all you who want to run and jet off, and all you are out there doing all the blah, 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 lying to people, talking about they should go buy this and get that and sell their house and their cars and all that crap and get the money and leave. You are in error and you are a fool. You are truly a liar. I'm not even going to pass names here, but I've seen that from at least 3 different people just within this week. And here we are, it is Yom 2. We haven't even got deep into the week. So we're talking about at least since right before the Sabbath. And this stuff is really irritating because people keep wanting to mix up the Most High with this God, Lord, JC crap. And I'm seeing it with my own eyes. I'm surprised nobody else has seen it. And whenever I go to one of these posts and see it, I always see the people saying hallelujah and teach whoever you are and, yada yahuwah. Why are you agreeing with these people? They're so far off base, it's not even funny. That's another thing. There's too many people afraid to step up and correct someone. Right there. My thing, if we're going to do the correction route, I like to do it in Messenger. But the next time I see you out there on Facebook continue to do it, now I'm coming to you right there. Because some people have got their feet like 2 or 3 inches off the ground and think they're so-called more set apart than anybody. We have too many Pharisee types in this way, in this walk. Everybody wants to be a teacher. Everybody wants to shout. You ain't saying nothing. And none of us are a teacher at all. This is not teaching you anything. This is presenting something for you to see. This is presenting something for you to at least check out on your own if you don't believe me. Because I believe with all my heart, this place could start having the fireballs drop down now. And I am not going to do anything but start praying and start giving all yada to Yahuwah. And staying in the way of Yahusha more. I'm not going to be afraid. I am not afraid what man can do to me. 1 John chapter 4 verse 18 says, we are supposed to have no fear. Love casts out fear. I'm trying to remember right. Fear isn't perfect in love. What is the love of the Most High Yahuwah? Let's do that one again. What's the love of the Most High Yahuwah? To show him, right? How do we show him? By doing his commands, right? How do we find that out? Read 1 John, 1 YAHU'AH, John, chapter 5, verse 3. For the love of Yahuwah is to show him by doing his commands, and the commands should not be heavy or burden to you. They should be natural to you. See, it's the people that struggle with want to do the right way are the ones who have, that old mindset. They read stuff and they be like, oh, that's not right. That's not what that means. Because you have no discernment. And then you're pushing your lack of discernment off on other people. That's what irritates me the most. blind leaders have blind followers because they're following you and you don't know a doggone thing. You're putting out what you're thinking in your mind. I've been in enough groups to see this. I've been in enough postings to see this. And I have enough people in my messenger to show themselves every day what their mindset really is. So when I see it, I'm ready to just strike it down. And I'm here today to let those who are unaware, because I'm sure many people are aware, that if you are staying in the way of Yahushua and you are doing the commands of the Most High and you are loving your brother as you should, and you are in your word, and you have obtained the Ruach of the Most High, it doesn't matter if you fall. You just get up and keep moving forward, but stay in the way. Don't try to do this yourself. None of us should be doing this ourselves. There are many, 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 many people on our Facebook feeds that have nobody but themselves in their midst, as far as physically. But we are never alone because we always got the Most High Yahuwah and we always got our mighty Mashiach Yahushua. They don't leave us. They do not forsake us at any time. This is what your mind and heart has to wake up with every day. Like I say, when you're awakened in your morning, the first thing you should do is activate your armor of Yahushua, the same armor that's found in Ephesians 6. That is called the armor of Yahushua because every part of that armor is him. All you got to do is look at it real close. And if you ain't activating your armor on a daily basis, you're going to have an issue because every day is different. You can't pray one time. Like, let's just take, for example, you're going to say all your prayers on the Shabbat. And you're going to take your prayers that you did on the Shabbat all the way through to the next Shabbat. You ain't doing nothing in between, but running around, going back and forth, doing your thing. You ain't thinking about nothing because you think the prayers you said on the Shabbat carry you all the way through. No, they don't. It's a daily thing. Palau up is daily. Palau, P-A-L-A-L, means prayer. It is a Hebrew word for prayer, something we should do without ceasing. Doesn't the scriptures tell us to watch and palau diligently so that we may be worthy to withstand all the things that come to pass in these times, and so that we can stand before the Son of Man, which is Yahushua? That definitely equals endurance in obedience. Nothing else. So there's no need for fear here. There's no need for panic in here. The panic button has been pushed 1,000 times. I'm seeing it in the mission. So, you know what? I really don't care what people say or think, but I'm seeing it. And if you just look at the way these people speak and talk, you will know they are in panic mode. The news means nothing to me. I see the news, I hear the news, so I'm aware of the news. But as far as getting all into it and wrapping my arms around it and really getting into everything they're saying and talking, no. I know all these people on this earth are just pawns for the Most High. I know Orange Face himself is a pawn. Every last one of them. I can't just point him out. Every last one of them. So what's there to panic about? This is how it's supposed to be. I've mentioned this before. The world is right on time. It's about as evil, wicked, disgusting, dark as it want to be, but it is doing its job more than what we do ourselves as Yasharal as a whole's job. It's ridiculous, the amount of insensitivity toward people too when they try to bring stuff up or ask a question. You see that. You're asking a question about something you don't know about, and the person want to get all chopped down on you because they feel like I say, those are the Pharisee types who like hide around the corner waiting for you to say something, hide around the corner waiting for your poster to come out so they can jump on you, or hiding around the corner waiting for somebody who really doesn't know the word ask something that, hey, should be asked. But you so own-minded and boastful within yourself, and I'm seeing this, it's like, why would you say that to them? Or I'm coming in their post answering the question for them that the person asked them. What kind of sense does that make? And you're an elder in the way for a while. Most of these people I'm talking about on Facebook, I've seen you on Facebook for at least 10 years. So there should be no issue with anything. All you were to drop in the God word, the Lord word, the JC word. I just saw that today. What is wrong with you? I don't see how you can have a clear conscience and feel right within yourself if you've been in the way that long and you're still calling on Yahuwah as God. Even when you put them little so-called means down, you have God in them, and you're too lazy to edit the word God out because you just want to look good. Let's not alter it because it looks good the way it is. No, take the God names out, take the LORD names out, definitely cover up the JC and all that garbage. Somebody just used the Christ word today concerning. In this sentence was the word Christ, and in the same sentence was our Mashiach, Yahusha. What is that? What is that? What is that? That's what you call being double-minded, own-minded, stiff-necked, because you're still doing the things you know you're not supposed to do, but you think it's okay to do them. You can't figure out that the names are our Creator and our Mashiach, the one who shed his blood on the stake for us. They both have names. They are both supposed to be used. You're using the church way of speaking. So if you want to use those words, go back to church. But if you're going to mix them and try to match them up with the Most High and Yahushua himself, just because you're lazy and ignorant and don't want to change it out, don't be surprised when things start crumbling for you. Because we are told to call on his name. We're supposed to call on the Most High, Yahuwah's name, through the name of Yahushua, his son. Like Yahushua said, I am the truth, I am the way, I am the life. And nobody comes to the Father but by me. That means we got to go through him to get to the Father. So if you're calling on JC or Christos or whatever the heck the ridiculous names you keep coming up with, that I clearly tell people that is a pagan title or name. Do not use that concerning our YAHU'AH. Do not use that concerning our Mashiach. And you look up the next day, they're doing the same thing again. So spring cleaning just happened for me on my list, and I do not mind sweeping you off. And when I sweep off on spring cleaning, I block you. That way I'll never see you again. That keeps my page refreshed and clean. But I'm sick and tired of it. And then they want to bash down on me and bash down on others. I'm not going to have it. Let's try Exodus 10, verse 22 and verse 23. I know I get a little hyped up about it sometimes, but we don't have time to play here, Mashpaka. Our time is running out. We don't know when Yahushua's going to come. We don't know when them skies are going to peel back. We don't know that time. And you can't go by the time we see because the time is so misconstrued and messed up. You don't know what time it is. That's another thing. People always want to debate about the time. Or we're not supposed to do this because this is the time. You don't know what time it is. You don't know what month it is. You don't know what year it is. You don't know nothing because everything's been messed up. And these things were messed up long before we got in the truth. And they've just been building on those things as we go along. So to speak of time, don't really bring that to the table. You don't have time to waste. Don't take what time you have for granted. I keep saying our time here is allotted. Exodus 10, verse 22. So Moshe stretched out his hand toward the sky, and there was a thick darkness in all the land of Egypt, Mizraim, for 3 days. They did not see one another, nor did anyone rise from his place for 3 days. But all the sons of Yasharal had light in their dwellings. We ain't talking about going outside. This is what I mean by separation. You either believe it or you don't. And if you don't, you're the one going to get caught up in all the confusion and commotion here, because our minds have to be exercised. How do we exercise our minds? Reading the book regularly, praying without stopping. These are the ways you exercise your mind, and the actions that you do as you go along. Like the way you responded to stuff when you were before the truth must be a change in those actions as you are in the truth, as far as responding, treating people a certain way, the way you talk, the way you think, all those things, the way you look at The TV, if you do that, the way you listen to music, if you do that, the places you go, if you do that, you still have to live here and now in these harsh, hard, dark times with a set apart mindset. Doesn't it tell us in Revelation 22, verse 11, to be more set apart and to be more righteous? It doesn't just say be righteous and be set apart. No, it actually says be more. This is how you gain favor from the Most High. Too many people are talking like they have a space already reserved for them in the kingdom. You ain't got nobody on this earth right now. We don't have. You can't say that. You don't have no space reserved for you. So many of us got so much work to do. It's not even funny. And if you feel yourself as a finished product, you are only fooling yourself. So we've already had the separation of people. We have had the separation of animals and goods by the Most High. We have said the destruction of actions happening to Mizraim as opposed to the people in the city of Goshen. Distinction was made there between that. And now we're having more action that can bring you to know that the Most High works in His way. He is the only one who has the power to do these things. He can destruct a place and save a place at the same time. He can destruct nations and save a nation and protect a nation at the same time, in the same land. It's been saying that all this time. Goshen wasn't somewhere far off. It was the city that the Yashuralites resided in. And the Most High kept that place under His protection. The same way He did through all Most High's people going out. And whatever that came up against them. Remember, you can read any book, any of the 66, any in the Apocrypha. The Most High always had a remnant of people who listened to Him and did it His way, even with their backs up against the wall. Which is all I'm trying to convey right now. You can't do it your way. You got to do it His way, even when your back is up against the wall. Let's move on. I got a few second address readings I'd like to do before I shut things down. They're very relevant to what we're talking about right now, very relevant to these times. And they're not of my own readings, my own words. I'm going to read these straight from the Apocrypha itself. So there will be no paraphrasing, there will be no extra words, and there will be no confusion. I said I had second Esdras already set up, and of course, the way things go, technical difficulty. So we're going to start with second Esdras, chapter 12, verse 44 through 47. Second Esdras. I'm reading it out of Apocrypha. I'm not going to cheat. Chapter 12, but I say verse 44 and 47. Verse 44 through 47 reads as follows. If you will forsake us, how much better had it been for us if we also had been consumed in the burning of Zion? For we are not better than those who died there. And they wept with a loud voice, and I answered them and said, Be of good comfort, O Yasharal, and be not sorrowful, you house of Yaakov. For the Most High has you in remembrance, and the Mighty has not forgotten you forever. As for me, I have not forsaken you, neither am I departed from you, but am come unto this place to pray for the desolation of Zion, and that I might seek mercy for the low estate of your sanctuary. You know, you read verses like this when he says, Be of good comfort, O Yasharal, and be not sorrowful, you house of Jacob. Those words are spoken in similarity in the 66 books. Be not afraid. Isn't that in Yahshua? Yahushua? Joshua? I want to say that's chapter 2. where he says, be strong and of good courage, do not fear them. Well, we read something similar to that in the Apocrypha. So you people that are panicking and all deep into this new stuff and worrying about what kind of missile gonna come over here, or the troops going over there, who cares? Who cares? Our battle is within. Let the Most High take care of all that other stuff. That's on him. He said he's a man of war. Our Yahuwah is a man of battle. He went out in front of every remnant, every story of his people who were being put down, tore down, beat down, oppressed. When it was time to escape, he was with them. There's a story in Maccabees when the people came in, King John came in to kill all of Jerusalem who were doing the Sabbath. And here they are not supposed to do anything on the Sabbath, so they took it to heart. We cannot fight back on the Sabbath. And guess what? They all got destroyed. But a small remnant of them who were hiding out in the mountains came to the conclusion that, hey, if we don't fight back, there will be none of us left to do the Sabbath. So we got to get out there, pray to the Most High to be with us, and fight back. And that's exactly what they did. They took out that army and were preserved because the Most High was with them. It doesn't matter how many of us it is versus the others. The Most High is with us. He's had 3, 4, 5 people destroy thousands of people. So we have to have faith in him. He has to be our refuge. Here's a good one. 2nd Esdras, chapter 7, verse 20. And by the way, shalom to all who have showed up here. May the Most High be with you in this yom. I appreciate your support coming by. 2nd Esdras, chapter 7, verse 20. I won't say what they're about till I start reading. It's more of an impact if you just do it that way. 2nd Esdras, chapter 7, verse 20. The righteous therefore will suffer straight things, and hope for wide. But those who have done wickedly have suffered the straight things, and yet will not see the wide. And he said to me, you are not a judge above YAHU'AH, neither have you understanding above the Most High. Now this is verse 20. Yes, rather than let many that now be perished than that of the law of YAHU'AH which is set before them be despised. For YAHU'AH strictly commanded such as came, even as they came, what they should do to live, and what they should observe to avoid punishment. Nevertheless, they were not obedient to him, but spoke against him, and imagined for themselves vain things. Imagined for themselves vain things. Imagined for themselves vain things. That's the issue too. There's so much vanity and vainness going on in Yasharel, it's not even funny. All you got to do is wake up and click on your Facebook page. We got a lot of people, like I keep saying, that look the part, but ain't doing the doggone thing. I've seen more and more people switching over to go to a camp. And we all, maybe not all, but those camps are not for us. They are like the wicked brother, so to speak. Because what they are really doing is showing the world the wrong way that we are. They're giving the wrong impression, so to speak, because that's who the people of this earth who see these guys out there in the corners doing all that hating and yakking and shouting, that's who they're focused on. Then when you come along, they're like, I don't want to talk to you. You guys are mean. You guys are evil. Why would I follow anything you're saying? They're not us. They're the wicked ones in here that do the vain things. They're the wicked ones in here that are of their own mind. They take the scriptures and twist them for their own benefit. They're like an evil church as well. They are part of this Babylonian system because they're here. They call themselves so-called an army. Who the heck are they fighting for? With that attitude, they're already going against what the Most High is telling us to do. We don't need no stinking army. We dang sure don't need them because they are vile, they're evil, they're hateful, and they put down even their own brothers and won't even think of anything of a righteous way to speak to anybody. I personally have had a run-in twice with camp members, and each time I spoke, they decided to take off, which told me just where they're coming from. Many shall perish in this life because they despise the law of Yahuwah. And that's in learned Yasharal too. Too many of us have learned Yasharal, or too many of them have learned Yasharal, think just because they have learned the way and they know the Most High, they can do whatever they want to do and they're okay. That is far from the truth. And if you have any mindset of trying to check out a camp or go there and be with it, don't do it. It's just like going to a church. You have the same negative spirit going into a camp institution dwelling that you have going into a church institution or dwelling. They're not too much different. They're both run by the same wicked one. They both have the same mindset of the same wicked one. They're not of righteousness. So let's just get that straight. And if you're in a camp out there and you ever hear me talking about it, bring it. I'm all for it. All right, let's try another one. Set apart people of the Most High. 2nd Esdras, chapter 7. This time verse 57 through 64. I'm still in the pot. Chapter 7, verse 64. 57 through 64 reads as follows. Judge you therefore which things are precious to be desired, what is abundant or what is rare. And I said, O Yahuwah, that bear rule, that which is plentiful is of less worth. That which is plentiful is of less worth, for that which is more rare is more precious. And he answered me and said, weigh within yourself the things that you have thought. For he that has what is hard to get rejoices over him that has what is plentiful. So also is the judgment which I have promised, for I will rejoice over the few that will be saved, inasmuch as there are those who have made my glory now to prevail, and of whom my name is now named. Why is he saying that? Why is he saying why his name is now named? These people must be calling on his name that he's saying he's going to save. So he's already saying again, we got to call on his name. You're fooling yourself if you think you can get away with just saying it for this purpose, Lord God, JC Christos, all that garbage. All that abominable garbage. These things are abominations to the Most High, and you're using your energy to call that on that. But you want the rewards of what the Most High offers in protection and favor and mercy. There's no such thing as grace. You can kick that word out the door too. It don't work like that. The Most High is not going to tell us, our Yahuwah is not going to tell us to do something, and then we don't do what he says, and then you still get the favor or reward from him. So what's the separation of people that are obedient to him and who are not? Because we're not talking about somebody that doesn't know. We're talking about people that know and they're just ignoring it. So that group is to the side to themselves. Those are the ones I always implore for people to clean up your list with. You don't need unevenly yoked people on your list making things confusing or worse for yourself. Because I see people complaining about the ones on the list. I just say, get rid of them. If they're a burden to you, why are you still dealing with them? We have enough like-minded people in the way on Facebook who do things the right way that you can join with them and speak with them and text with them, whatever. We don't need the burden of unevenly yoked, disobedient, stiff-necked, own-minded ones on our page to distract you. Because right now, this whole world and what's going on in it is nothing but a distraction to try to keep us away from what we're supposed to be focused on. And what we're supposed to be focusing on is the coming of Yahushua. And what we're supposed to be focusing on is we don't know when he's going to come, so we need to stay righteous until that time. Not wavering and going off to just say, well, okay, I'll do this for this time and then come back. No, stay straight and narrow all the time as the best you can. Because we're going to be coming up again on that description of the straight and narrow way, which just happens to be here in 2nd Esdras. Hallelujah. The battle on earth enduring to the end, long-suffering to those sinners here, repent and be saved, is the message for Esdras chapter 7, verse 57 through 64. Battle on earth is Yahuwah's. Enduring to the end is our duty. Long-suffering is what we go through, but we still have to stay righteous and seek strength and guidance from the Most High in Yahushua's name. Everything is in Yahushua's name. Everything is through Yahushua. You don't just get to go before the Most High in your prayer and that's okay. We need to remember that. Yahushua is the one who shed his blood for us. It's Yahushua's way we got to walk and follow. I keep saying it. Being here in this place is just training day. It is time, but it's training day. Every day we wake up is training day because you can't waver or go off that path to do what you want to do at any time. So you have to stay in that training moment, which is following the commands, doing the Torah, praying for guidance, praying for discernment, praying for knowledge. Be thankful for if you have knowledge, wisdom, understanding, discernment, and eyes to see and ears to hear, you should be thanking the Most High every single day because not everybody has that. And those are the true gifts of life because it's the only way you're going to get through the Word with the proper understanding. It's the only way you're going to get through life in the Word with proper understanding because we're always going to get stuff thrown in our face. We're always going to get stuff thrown in our way. We're always going to get stumbling blocks thrown before us. These are hurdles we must overcome. All right. 2nd Esdras, chapter 8, verse 1. I'm going to read that, and in your mind, tell me what you think that equals to. What does this verse equate to? 2nd Esdras, chapter 8, verse 1. And he answered me and said, the Most High has made this world for many. I like to repeat those impact ones. Chapter 8, verse 1. And he answered me and said, the Most High has made this world for many, but the world to come for few. Doesn't that sound familiar from the 66 books? Most people don't want to realize that this earth is nothing but a training ground because there's going to be a new heaven and a new earth come down and take the place of this place. But it will not be inhabited by millions and millions of disobedient horrors of in their religions, by millions and millions of disobedient, non-compliant ones to the ways of the Most High. It won't be filled by millions and millions of unevenly yoked, stiff-necked, disobedient Yasharal. When the new world comes, it's only going to be obedient people in there. And when the new world comes, it will be peace across the land. But you can't get to that unless you go through this harsh battle right here. We were already told that the Most High's way, which is the way of Yahushua, walking in Yahushua's way, is on a straight and narrow path, and that is the narrow gate to walk through, because it's the hard-pressed gate. I just said that a few minutes ago. Things are going to come upon you. You just got to get through it. You're going to go through trials. You just got to get through them. We all are here being tried by fire. So you complainers of your situations, stop complaining and embrace them. Maybe you will be able to be impacted with favor more through that. Because, I keep saying it, it's on the inside that what counts. You can be smiling all jolly out here, lying to everybody else because you want to look good. But inside of you, you murmuring, you complaining, you, oh, woe is me, because all the stuff you going through. We don't see it, but the Most High sees it. We don't see it, but Yahushua sees it. So who you fooling? Once again, revert back to Psalms 91. We all have a messenger / angel in our presence all the time, reporting everything we do, reporting everything we think. They're beings more powerful than us. They have that power. So stop fooling yourself and get with the Most High in a righteous way. Finish that off. Chapter 8 verse 1. And he answered me and said, the Most High has made this world for many, but the world to come for few. I will tell you now a similitude, Esdras, as when you ask the earth, it will say to you that it gives very much mold, whereof earthen vessels are made, and little dust that gold comes to. Even so, it is the course of the present world. This stuff we got now don't mean a doggone thing about nothing. You can have a garage full of gold in your yard. You can have every jewel and diamond, the fanciest cars, the biggest houses. And some of y'all got that. Your pictures and your videos give away yourselves what you got. But that doesn't make you have anything. You can have all the riches of the world and you have zero as far as being in the way of the Most High. He doesn't go by what we have here. This stuff is all going to fade, rust, burn, disappear. Our goal should be the riches of the kingdom coming down, which is the reward for those who stay in endurance and obedience and trust. We are Yahushua's possession. He shed his blood on the stake for us. So we are his possession. The Most High gave us to him. So we are to follow him. We are to walk in his way. You didn't see Yahushua running from what he knew was before him, and he knew what was before him. We don't know what's in front of us. You don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what time it is right now. We don't have time. You don't know what's in front of you. You could not be here later on today. You definitely could not be here tomorrow. So what time are you gambling with when you're doing all this other crazy stuff? Instead of staying in the refuge of the Most High. Instead of staying still. Instead of staying in your closet. Instead of staying in your doors. Instead of making sure your doorposts are spiritually covered with the blood of the Lamb. There are things to do and there are things not to do. And those are the things we must do. Keep your doorposts covered. Stay inside, which literally means don't get involved in the stuff out here. We all know we have to leave the house to go to work or store, whatever. But if you have discernment of the words, you know what it means. And that's what's lacking a lot is discernment. And people want to do all this jaw-jacking and they have no discernment. You just sit there like, what are they even saying? Why are you even saying that? That scripture has nothing to do with this subject. There's a lot of that going on. We have to learn to discern. Verse 3, there are many created, but few will be saved. And I answered and said, swallow down understanding then, O my soul, and let my heart devour wisdom. Wisdom, another one of those gifts of life that we need to have. You can have one of the other, or one of each one, or two. But if you have the whole handful, then you're on the right track, and you should stay there. And don't let anybody come into your life and wean you off. You know, everybody has their own opinion of what YAHU'AH is supposed to be, but they never really look at the scriptures and discern them to see what YAHU'AH as a whole is supposed to be. Because you have people speaking like Deuteronomy 28 is 15 to the end. Verse 15 to the end of that chapter is latched on to us forever, and it isn't. So if you have to ask yourself, what does verse 1 through 14 mean in Deuteronomy 28? Because you can't lift the curse up off you if you are obedient to the Most High. Those are more falsehoods being put out, making people feel like they're downtrodden and there's no way out, and we're supposed to be like this. No, you're not. YAHU'AH as a whole is on punishment here. Right? YAHU'AH as a whole is in that verse 15 through 63 or 5 of Deuteronomy 28 because they don't want to listen. So you are going to be in that curse. And people want to say, well, that curse was for back in the day. Hello. We ain't back in the day. That curse holds true to this day. You see the plight of our people. It's been going on for decades, for generations that we're connected to. It goes back further than that. But since them ships hit the land here, we haven't had it, and we're not going to get it. It's just like the idiots waiting for us to get reparations. You really think the Most High put us here on punishment and then go reward you for your disobedience to Him? Don't work like that. So, people have focus on the wrong things. Wow. So that was 2nd Esdras, chapter 8, verse 1 through 5. Earth made for many, but the world to come for few. There many will be created, but few shall be saved. We have to remember that. Don't take your life for granted. Don't think you got it all. Don't think you're good to go. Keep working every day you are awakened. Not every day you wake up. Every day you are awakened. Just a big difference in thought process with that. Because many people go to sleep and they do not wake up. So it's when we are awakened that we have to start. Alrighty, here comes the one I was talking about before. This is 2nd Esdras. We're going back to chapter 7, and we're going to start at verse 1. If you have never read this before, or you are not familiar with this, you are probably, I like to do this simultaneously, so just give me a quick second right here. You are going to be amazed at what you hear if you have not heard it. And I continue to say to people, if you don't broaden your mindset to learn more, you will be stuck in one place. All right, this 2nd Esdras, chapter 7, verse 1 through 10, is that very detailed description of the straight and narrow way. And it is by far more descriptive than the Matthew description of straight and narrow way. So let's take a look at that. Just give me 1 second here. I be thinking I had this stuff set out, and then you know how that goes. It don't go. All right, we're going to do the 2nd Esdras, chapter 7, verse 1 through 10. The description of the straight and narrow way. As we're told in Matthew, we're supposed to stay on the straight and narrow way because it's the hard-pressed way. The wide gate is the broad way. And many find that, but very few find the straight and narrow way. Here is the straight and narrow way we are to find and walk and be on and stay on, no matter how hard it gets. And when I had made an end of speaking these words, there was sent to me a messenger, an angel, which had been sent to me the nights before. And he said to me, Get up, Esdras, and hear the words that I am come to tell you. And I said, Speak to me, master. And he said to me, There is a sea set in a wide place, that it might be broad and vast. See them similarities of that Matthew scripture? But the entrance thereof will be set in a narrow place, so as to be like a river. Whoso then should desire to go into the sea to look upon it or to rule it, if he went into the sea to look upon it or to rule it, if he went not through the narrow, how could he come into the broad? Another thing also, he said, this is a city built and set in a plain country, and full of all good things. But the entrance thereof is narrow. That narrow entrance to the good place. And is set in a dangerous place to fall. So that's telling us right there that aside from what we read in Matthew, This second Esdras should open your eyes more, because in Matthew is just telling you it's a straight narrow gate, it's the hard way to go, very few find it, stay in that way. This description is giving you detail of that straight and narrow way, that in a way it should, I'll use the word, frighten one person or anybody to go off of that, and to know in your mind how important it is to stay on that straight and narrow way in Yahushua's light, following him. Right here. But the entrance thereof will be set in a narrow place, so as to be like a river. Whoso then should desire to go into the sea to look upon it or to rule it, if he went not through the narrow, how could he come into the broad? Another thing also, there is a city built and set in the plain country, and full of all good things. Verse 7, but the entrance thereof is narrow, and is set in a dangerous place to fall, having a fire on the right hand. Now, we know that fire ain't no little brush fire. We know that fire ain't no little campfire. If it was that, it wouldn't be considered dangerous. So that's the right side of this narrow path. And on the left, a deep water. So imagine, you're on a very narrow path. We ain't got to the measurements of that yet. And on one side, the right side, is a vicious fire. On the other side, the left side, is a deep water. So imagine you, your own self. That's why I say you got to go into your own mind and imagine yourself on that path. How careful would you be walking if you were on a path that is very narrow with fire on one side and deep water on the other side? Heck, most of us in Yasharal, I'm just going to say it out loud, black folks can't even swim. Not all, but most and many, me being one. And on the left, a deep water. Verse 8, and there is one only path between them both. Even between the fire and the water, the path is so small. Remember that part. The path is so small that there could be but one man go there at once. Now, when you read that or you hear that, what would be the first thing you think of? Are you thinking of a path that goes through the woods or the forest? It's like this, where you can just walk and you got bushes on each side, and if you stumble and fall, it's okay. I just get up and keep walking. Or are you thinking it's a path that's about as wide as a tightrope, and on each side of that tightrope are these large fire, deep water? So how do you think your carefulness has to be? How do you think your straight of walk has to be? How do you think your attentive has to be to stay on that straight and narrow way? Because according to this, if you're on a path that says only one man can go there at once, common sense tell you that path is very, 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 very narrow. If only one man can walk on the path at once. And you have these dangerous sides to fall into if you slip off that path. That's what I mean by the straight and narrow. And the two different distinctions of what it is. The one in Matthew, fine. I followed it my whole time since I first got into the truth. Then I came upon the Apocrypha, and then I was reading the Apocrypha. I got through all the books so far. When I reread 2nd Esdras and saw this, I'm like, whoa, that's Matthew. That's in Matthew. But this sounds much more destructive. This sounds much more harder pressed to walk on this description of the path. We'll go through verse 8 again. And there is one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could be but one man go there at once. Verse 9, if this city now be given to a man for an inheritance, if the higher pass not the danger before him, how will he receive his inheritance? So in order to get to that inheritance, if it's there in the city, you have to walk the straight and narrow way. So what is our inheritance? If we make it through this world and stay on the straight and narrow, very hard, dangerous walk, we hopefully, by the will and favor of the Most High, will be in his kingdom. That's our inheritance. Not nothing here. Not money, not gold, not cars, not houses, not jewelry. Not all that good stuff people think about here. That don't have nothing to do with nothing. This inheritance here is there forever. People are already experiencing that inheritance now up in the heavens. But when that comes down, we want to walk this straight and narrow path so we are able to gain entry through them gates, which is written in Revelations 22 as well. We have to live to be worthy to enter in through them gates. Not just getting up every day, doing our own thing, walking the way we want to walk. All right. The straight and narrow description. Look on those who serve the Most High in truth. Regard those who desire the testimony while in afflictions. People, we have so many mashpake going through things, afflictions, pains, sicknesses, long sufferings, brokenness, losses of family, sorrows, weaknesses. I mean, these are called afflictions. We are going through trials here, but we can't look at it as what it is. We have to look at it as what we have to go through to maintain our favor in the way of the Most High, like our brother Jacob says in Jacob 1. I think it's verse 2. Be joyful. Count it all joy when you go through various trials, and know that your trials brings patience. And patience is a sign of endurance. We need to be that way all the time. This is not a game. Our main thing in these times and this day forward is to walk this straight and narrow path that was just written, that we just read over. That is the way we're supposed to go. Not scattered all over the place, going like, an anthill. Kick the anthill and the ants are going all over the place because you disturbed it. But in their regular thing, they're like a controlled chaos. Each and every one has a job. Each and every one stays in their way until they are disturbed. We are to stay in the way whether we are disturbed or not. That's what a trial is. Trial by fire. To be tested in the fire, to come out more precious than gold. To come out refined in the way. The Most High chastises those he loves. So if you're skating through life and everything's okay, and like I said, you just did your prayers on that day and you're going to go on about your business, maybe you're not in that favor that you think you are. Because if you're in the way of the Most High, you're going to get chastised. You're going to go through these trials. It is up to you in your own way to figure out the right mindset for that trial, for your trials, of any burden or whatever. We're supposed to always give all our burdens over to the Most High and Yahushua anyway. You shouldn't even be carrying a burden. Live to be a delight to the Most High and live to be a delight to Yahushua. Not to be a delight to people around you or yourself. If you act accordingly, you will automatically be a light to those around you. And acting accordingly is doing First YAHU'AH, 1 John 5:3. That's the main one. You got to show the Most High you love him. You got to do his commands. The commands are in Shemuth, Exodus 20. And trust me, just because you read those 10 don't mean that's the end. The doggone commands go all the way through. Like I said earlier, anything in the book that says the word of the Most High came to me and said, that is a command we need to pay attention to. And this straight and narrow way is what we should stay on. Through all matters, no matter what we go through here. You can't say, well, that's the Most High wants me to act this way because I'm going through this and I know I can do. It doesn't matter what we think. I've learned that my own self. The present situation I'm in, I never knew I would be here. But the Most High laid my path for me and put me where I am right now. And the only thing I did, because I don't work, I'm retired, I didn't do nothing but obey him. I didn't do nothing but keep my refuge in him. No matter what, I kept getting knocked down a run, knocked down a rung, knocked down a rung, and I just maintained myself. Even though I kept getting knocked down rung after rung after rung. The next thing I know, just out of and I mean literally, a snap of a finger, my whole life was changed with favor, abundant favor. And I don't mean money. I mean living here. I haven't lost a thing because of the Most High. Because in my heart and mind, He is my refuge. And I don't care what happens to me, I'm going to call on Him. I'm going to be those people in First Maccabees that fought back. I'm going to be those people in Joshua who were able to go across the river because they were obedient. And no adults went, only Joshua and Caleb. The rest were younger children. That's how hard it is. That's how hard we have to work. And it's our duty to do the commands of the Most High, which is in Ecclesiastes. What is the duty of man? To do the commands of the Most High. And that's for everybody, but not everybody wants to do them. And just a side note, because I'm about to shut this down. Yasharel, this Yasharel has to learn that the Most High does not love everybody, but He does love those who does His desire, His will. He does love those who believes in and follows Yahushua. So you out there that are hating on the people that, as in Romans, explains grafted ones. You can't go around hating on grafted people, just like grafted people can't go around boasting on themselves and boasting against us. If the Most High put down a criteria for people to be in His favor, so be it. Salah. That's what it is. You don't get to change and tell these people, and I'll say it the raw way, if you are a dark-skinned Yasharal and you're battling and always want to put down the so-called white graftees, Caucasian graftees, you're in error because you don't have no say-so over what the Most High thinks. It's already written in Romans. And if you're a non-believer of the New Testament, you're out the door anyway. So your opinion, which is all it is, does not matter. If we have Caucasian people following Yahushua as written, if we have Caucasian people doing the commands and right rulings and remembering the days of the Most High, the whole 9 yards, doing the Shabbat, who are you to tell them that they're wasting their time because the Most High won't let anybody into the kingdom? You have to discern that as well. What is being in the kingdom versus being the servants? Who you think our servants supposed to be? It's not all white people are not, all Caucasian people are harsh. I've seen many. You go on their page, and even when you chat with them, they're doing more of the work than some of these dark-skinned, learned Yasharal lights. So who are you to put them down? As long as they are not going against the ways of the Most High, we're all supposed to be in there. That color on that, the only thing color has to do with, so you people that are ignorant, that are dark yourself, the only thing color has to do with is because in the ancient days, we all look like this. And all the set apart ones that Yahuwah set apart look like this. We all know the characters in the Bible are dark skinned. We don't have to be going over that back and forth. It's the astonishment of them who see that all the characters in the scriptures are dark skinned. There are no white characters in the scriptures. Paul, Peter, Yashayahu, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Moshe, Aaron, none of those are. Look, it ain't us to pick out the people who the Most High is going to choose. If anything, you should be helping those who are seeking truth, trying to find a way out of this garbage. We're supposed to be a light to the Gentiles, so why are you putting them down so harshly? Because I see it, and they come to me sometimes and tell me what they're going through our people. They want to be in the way of Yahuwah. They want to follow Yahusha. They do the Torah. They set apart the Shabbat. They recognize the feast days. And you see them all every day, and you putting them down, telling them they can't be grafted in because they are of Caucasian persuasion. Get on out of here. You about as disobedient and old-minded a stick-necked as you want to be. I had to throw that side note in here because it's rampant too. And we're going to try to erase all these irregular, irrelevant, uh, not having any meaning, opinion, native people's words. Don't let them affect you. So with that being said, I'm going to shut this down. But I will leave it with this scripture. This is Matthew chapter 10, verse 28. I think it's very important to hear this because fear of the Most High is like a very high level of respect for Him, so much that you really are afraid to do anything against Him. You really are afraid to go against His way. And if you don't have fear and trembling of the Most High, thinking you can go on your own way, you are in a lot of trouble. Here's why. Matthew 10, verse 28. Don't fear who can only kill you. Like these people here, all they can do is kill you. But fear who kills and destroys your soul in Gehenna. That would be Yahuwah. He could take you out and destroy your soul all at the same time. And then you are nothing. It is better to pass away in favor of the Most High than to pass away from here unrepentant, old-minded, and stiff-necked. Because it is Him, the Most High Yahuwah, and Him, the Most High Yahuwah alone, we should be fearful of. Because sitting here right now, putting this message out, I don't fear one single person on this earth. I just mentioned earlier, they can come, they can bomb, they can do what they want. The agents can come to my door and take me away because they think I'm somebody. I can get stopped at a traffic stop and the cops want to harass me, blah, blah, blah. I'm not scared of none of that stuff. Because I know according to Deuteronomy 28, we are in this, we are the lowest of the low. We are the hated nation on this earth. We have a Mexican family next to us. They're building up some stuff over there, a garage of some type, maybe housing for them. But they have their own property over there, and I've been taking pictures of it. And when the finished product comes out, I'm going to put it on Facebook because it was amazing to me how they tore something down and built it up step by step. But the thing with that is, the black people in the surrounding area are kind of upset that they are able to come here and build stuff that they want to build. I'm only bringing that up because it's like, here we go again. It's a Deuteronomy 28 situation. Even though these so-called Mexican nation of people are being looked down upon as far as U.S. KKK is concerned, we are still lower than them. We ain't higher than nobody here. I don't care what nation, what people it is, Latino, Mexican, African, the Somalians here, everybody. We are below everybody. And if you know that in your mind and keep your mind right, you won't have any issues. With that being said, I hope that by the will of the Most High, we all can come together and be of one accord and have more compassion toward each other, love one another, and help your brethren, as I want to say it is the 1 Peter chapter 2. We are to be more compassionate and more loving to our brother. To love our brother is a command. Our brother is anybody that is in the way of the Most High, in the way of Yahushua. As we know, our families cannot be considered our brothers and sisters in that fact. As Yahushua once said, who is my mother? Who is my brother? Who is my father? Who is my sister? But those that do the will of the Most High. So if these people are doing the will of the Most High, why are you bashing them? Why are you putting them down? You should be helping them, especially when they want to know. All praises to the Most High for His words and ways and for allowing us to know Him, to do His desire, to follow His mighty Son, to give us the strength to stay on the straight and narrow way. I pray with all my heart that we stay in the way of Yahuwah, in Yahushua, doing the will of the Most High. In Yahushua's name I give you barakah and esteem to our mighty one. I pray out that each and every one of you are uplifted by his powerful Ruach. And I pray out that each and every one of you feel him in your midst, whatever you do. And remember, if you are going through a trial, please count it all joy and don't murmur, complain, be anxious, own-minded, stiff-necked. Much ahaba, which is love, much shalom, which is peace, and many barakah be upon you, which is blessings. Take care, be safe, and keep the Most High first. Peace.